My name is Laura Osorio. I am the event organizer. So basically this event came because in 2016 I applied for what was then called the Dr. Stephen Engelsman grant, now called the FEL, Junior Scholar, So I presented this idea for this conference and it got selected. So it has been the work of almost a year to what brings us here today. I'm also currently doing my PhD in the University of Oslo. So this, what we will talk about, connects with my own research. So first of all, I would just like to thank the Research Center of Material Culture, Wayne Modest. I would like to thank for logistics, Caroline Nakamura and Nina Kleikamp. Yeah. Obviously, all of the speakers, thank you for coming from near and far, as Wayne put it. There will be a change in the program, which I will say immediately. We have had a last-minute cancellation. Sandra Dudley was not able to join us today, so that's why you will notice that the whole program has shifted. And this will give us some time for discussion, the final discussion, and if people have questions, it will also give us more time to elaborate on our questions. I would like to thank everyone that is here, so all of the attendants, thank you for walking in the really, really cold streets to get here, and also for the people that are live streaming right now. Thank you for watching us from the warmth of your home. So basically, I will just give like a little background information. My current PhD works with a community in Colombia, the Wounnan community, that has been displaced from their normal territory into urban areas. So I am primarily focusing on their craft production, on their baskets, and how they are making baskets, continuing this tradition from the urban area. So on the general scope of my research, what I'm dealing is with objects and displacement. So how does displacement affect objects, and how do objects affect people that have been displaced? So during my own research, I've wanted to address also the issues of homemaking. So how also objects in this context of displacement and diaspora or migration are helping, in my case, the Wounnan community, to rebuild some type of home in this completely foreign landscape. Because my work began in the Museum of Cultural History in Oslo, and I've worked with several museums in my short time alive, so I also wanted to bring forward this part, what happens with these objects when they are collected by museums. How do communities that are source communities for these objects, how do they interact with these objects? And also people that are visiting the museum itself. So in a way, this the symposium, what it tries to bring together is the role of the object. So we have these objects that are in migration. How do they help or sometimes make obstacles in museum contexts, in a way of how people connect or not with them, and also with the source communities and the communities that are around these objects. So basically that's the general idea of what we will talk about today.
We didn't quite get the name of the source community you were talking about.
Wounnan.
Wounnan.
Yeah, in my presentation it will be written, so you can, yeah. Okay, so we will go briefly through the program, so we all know what is going to happen today. So we will have, well, this introduction, and the whole symposium will be divided into 2 sections. So the first one will be diasporic objects and museums, and the second one, diasporic objects and the construction of home. Because of what I mentioned, that we had a cancellation, so it shifted a little bit, the program, but we will maintain the goal of keeping presentations to 30 minutes and 15 minutes that could be extended for questions, and if someone wants to begin a small discussion, that can also happen after the presentation. We will have a lunch break from 1 to 2 p.m., a coffee break from 3:30 until 4, and then we will finish with a roundtable discussion that will be led by Wayne Modest. So this first section of diasporic objects and museums, we will have 3 speakers. First, we will have Professor Paul Basu, which will present a paper, or her presentation is titled From Object Diasporas to Museum Affordances. For those of you who are not familiar with his work, so Paul Basu is a professor of anthropology at SOAS University of London. He took his PhD at University College London, where he was associated with the anthropology's Department of Material Culture group. He went on to teach at the University of Sussex before returning to UCL to run its Museum Studies MA program. His research has focused on the migrations of people, things, ideologies, and narrations of the past. For the past 15 years, he has worked in West Africa, especially in Sierra Leone, and more recently in Nigeria. He's currently leading a 3-year project that is entitled Museum Affordances, which is an attempt to apply an experimental museology to re-engage with colonial collections in decolonial times. Following Professor Paul Basu, we will have Hector Garcia. His presentation is titled Negotiating Place, Meaning and Identity in the Ethnographic Museum of the Central Bank of Colombia. Hector is an anthropologist and holds an MA in social anthropology by the University of Los Andes. Since 2010, he has been a part of the curatorship team of the Gold Museum in Bogotá. He has curated a new exhibition in the Ethnographic Museum of the Central Bank of Colombia, which is located in Leticia, so in the Amazon area of Colombia, and an exhibition called Mola's Layers of Wisdom. Currently, he's working on a research about the act of repairing objects. His main areas of interest are the history of anthropology in Colombia, practices of representation of the other in museums, and tangible and intangible heritage politics. After Hector finishes, we will have Wounaan Weiss. The title of her presentation is Diasporic Waka in a Dutch Museum, Fostering and Mediating Relationships. Wounaan Weiss is a curator of Oceania at the National Museum of World Cultures here in the Netherlands, where we are now. She has previously worked at the Museum of Archaeology and Anthropology in Cambridge and has held a postdoctoral fellowship at the Metropolitan Museum of Art at the Musée Quai Branly in Paris. She curated the Mana Maori exhibition in Leiden and has published a book with the same title. Her fieldwork sites include New Zealand, Tonga, and most recently Arnhem Land in Australia. Her topics of interest and expertise include Pacific art and material culture, museums and cultures of collecting, Pacific musical instruments, Pacific textiles, and the significance of historical objects in a contemporary setting.